Hello and welcome to a new episode of AUC Observer. This is Marina Michel. In today's episode, we are honored to have Dr. Zainab Amin, the Associate Provost for Assessment and Accreditation, who is going to talk with us about the process of developing different programs offered by the American University in Cairo. Before that, we are going to watch different stories by AUC students. There are different restaurants on campus offering a variety of dishes, sandwiches, and beverages. But are they covering all the demands of AUCians? In the following report, Marina Michel is investigating whether students with different food regimens are finding it easy to buy food on campus. Although a variety of dishes and sandwiches are being served on campus, you still can find many students who complain about food services. Some of them bring their food from home, and others just give up their food regimens in order to save themselves daily struggles.
I've been following a nutrition plan for 2 years. I don't eat any food that contains sugar. I only eat unsaturated fats. I try to avoid saturated fats and so on. I find it difficult on campus to find foods that fit my nutrition plan. So the only place I go to eat on campus is Tabali because I eat food and ta'amir. And even those options, it's not that healthy because the oil they use in the food, it's not that healthy, and ta'amir itself is not even that healthy, and so on.
ببقى عايز ميت حاجه فيها بروتين، بروح بروتشرز بس بقول له قد ما هو بقول له جريلد، ساعات برضو بلاقي فيها اويل، فالموضوع ده بيضايقني، فبضطر ان انا مثلا اجيب ميلز معايا، بس انا مثلا احب حاجه تبقى فريش، فهضطر ان انا مثلا اجيب معايا ميل عايز اسخنها، فالموضوع ما بيبقاش لذيذ قوي.
In terms of variety, I definitely find the food quite repetitive because I have to get a salad or a sandwich with brown bread or something. But you know, I like routine, I like habits. However, it would be nice to have some more options, maybe grilled chicken and some vegetables rather than just a salad every single time.
These are the answers of food providers.
مبدئيا الفراخ لما بشويها على جريل فحم. هي ما بتاخدش زيت مبدئيا خالص، بس هي عشان الفراخ ما تلزقش هي رشة زيت لا تذكر خالص، لكن هي اصلا جريلة فحم فما بتاخدش زيت اصلا يعتبر.
عندنا اكل برضو من غير زيت صحي، عندي ساندوتش هوت دوج بيتسوى على البخار. في ساندوتش اسمه تشيكن سبمارين، ده صدور فراخ مشوي على الجريل، بيتعمل منه في العيش الهيلسي اللي هو البراون بريد. ده ممكن يتعمل لطالب بدون اي زيت خالص، بيتشوي على الجريل، ممكن نسبه زيت قليله جدا عشان اثناء فتره التسويه، بس بيبقى عليه خس وخيار وطماطم وبصل حلقات مشوي، فالساندوتش ده بيبقى كله هيلسي.
في عندي سموك تشيكن والسموك سالمون، ده حاجه صحيه.
عندنا اللي تشيكن فاهيتا وعندنا اللي تشيكن جريل، دول بينزلوا على الجريل وحتى بياخدوا زيت قليل جدا، ما بياخدوش زيت كتير.
The pescatarian diet is almost plant-based. However, its main source of protein is seafood. The only seafood that we could find on menus is canned tuna.
For a month and a half, I tried to be a pescatarian, but it was really hard to find the protein in the university. I couldn't find fish or shrimp or any other source of protein. It wasn't sufficient enough for me to continue this diet for a whole month, so I had to stop.
All food providers negated serving gluten-free plates, even those who serve salads, which means they never gave attention to the subject. Some of them even asked, what does that mean? Gluten is a type of protein that exists in wheat. It damages the gut of people who suffer from celiac disease.
طب هل عندكم أي منتجات gluten free؟
لا للاسف.
هل عندكم حاجة gluten free؟
حاليا لا.
However, if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, you are luckier because you can find plant-based meals that would reward your senses.
احنا عندنا نوعين من الفيجي، هو الفيجي برجر والبيوند برجر. الفيجي ده بيبقى مكونات اصلا خضار كلها وبيتعمل هوم ميد، تمام، بيبقى خضروات مشكله ولسان العصفور وحاجه نباتيه كلها يعني. اما البيوند برجر هو بيبقى حاجه بس سبيشال شويه عشان بتبقى مستورده، تمام، بتاخد مكسرات وبتاخد نشا بطاطس.
دي 4 أنواع سندوتشات، شاورما و2 تشيكن وميكس تشيز، تشيكن ترياكي وتشيكن باربيكيو، اورينتال بيف وميكس تشيز. دول مخصصين للنباتيين.
احنا عندنا سلطات، 5 انواع سلطات. دايما اللي بيحب ياخد وجبه نباتيه بيتجه للسلطات عندنا.
انواع الفيجيتيريان اللي بتتقدم عندنا، احنا عندنا انواع اومليت 90% منها كلها بتتقدم عن طريق الفيجيتيريان. في اومليت فيجي، في عندنا ميكس تشيز، في موجود اومليت ساده، في البيض المسلوق، الكلام ده كله في انواع البيض. الحاجات دي كلها بتتقدم فيجيتيريان. في موجود عندنا كمان الكشري ممكن يتقدم من انواع الفيجيتيريان. في عندنا بقى الفاج ودوت بيتقدم ممكن فول، في الطعميه، في الفرنش فرايز. دي الحاجات اللي بنقدر نقدمها في الانواع دي.
You can also find dairy-free milk in cilantro, La Roma and TBS.
عندنا لبن صويا، لبن شوفان، لبن ألموند، لبن جوز هند، كل ده ألبان نباتية.
For healthy beverages, you can find sugar-free juice in Formula Wonderful and decaf coffee in TBS.
الديكاف ده اقل حاجه فيه كافيين، في الR2 ده ميديوم كافيين، وفي الD2 ده طبعا سترونج اكتر. كل ده موجود.
Food vendors' main concern used to be the taste and the quality. However, the rising need of healthier meals and snacks on campus made all vendors think again about their menus.
مضيف بالفعل شغالين فيها، وإدارة التسويق نازلة بمنيو جديد عندنا.
خلال مثلا شهر او شهرين من دلوقتي احنا بنحاول نزود الهيلثي فود عامه، وبنحاول نزود الفيجن للاكل برضو لان الطلب مننا كذا مره.
الاوبريشن عندنا بدا يدرس الموضوع دوت، واحنا بنحاول الفتره الجايه ان احنا نعمل اي تعديلات في المنيو عشان خاطر الحاجات اللي بتطلب مننا في الفتره الاخيره.
مارينا ميشيل، AUCTV.
Do you think your personality can have an aura of its own, one that can be translated into a smell? No more in the upcoming report on algorithmic perfumery by Adel Fakhri.
This is how long it takes you to create a perfume based off of your personality using AI. But only one man can tell us the full story.
My name is Ahmed Al-Laythi, and I am one of the co-founders of Kairotronica. Kairotronica is a new media art festival. What we do is we bring people who practice at the intersection of art, science, and technology, and we try to bring artworks that comment on the impact of science and technology on society. Algorithmic Perfumery was one of the people that we selected as a part of the curation for our festival in 2021. So this was the outcome of a project that the artist, the main artist, had done with a big perfumery house. The artist is called Frederick Durinek, and he started now a company called Centronic. The name of the company that invited him was called IFF, and it's a big perfumery company. We started in June, and we had it planned for 10 days. Because of the huge reception, we finished actually the perfumes we got in 4 days, and we felt that it was such a shame to actually have the entire experience be used only for 4 days and only have people see it if we saw that a lot more wanted to see it. So it took us a bit of a while to figure out how to bring it back and cover costs primarily, and then that's why we extended it to the second time. But this is not only the Egyptian premiere, or it's also the Middle East and Africa premiere.
But why is this so important to the founders and Kairotronica?
If I step back a little bit, what's the point? Why is this important? It's because scent is very strongly linked to emotion. So what happens is when you associate a certain emotion or a certain memory even to a scent, it operates on a subconscious level. It's very difficult for you to actually undo that. You can undo, let's say, a memory or an emotion to something visually. For example, you see somebody, you have certain emotions, and then you teach yourself to have the opposite emotions later on. With scent, that's not the case. So that's a very powerful thing, and that's something that in this particular case, the artist felt that they want to decouple and give that power to the individual, where every individual has their own unique scent. The experience starts with the user walking into the room and filling in a survey. So they're asked to answer all these questions that gives basically 3 separate AIs a good snapshot or picture of the individual as they see it themselves. The survey is also meant as a tool for self-reflection, so it gets the user ready to be aware of what their personality is, what they like and dislike. Also, there are some questions that are not feeding the machine. They're actually just meant for purely self-reflection. Once that survey is completed, the individuals see the formulas that the AI has come up with, and they get a code. They enter that code into the machine, and then they themselves see the machine as it's making the perfume that they have produced with their own personality. They have 38 accords, and what this means, I mean, it's an industry term for sort of scent. So you have 38 scents that are in containers, as you can see behind me, and they're on 2 rows. So you have 2 rows of 18 containers, all connected to a pump at the base, and then you have a bottle that sort of travels on a belt, and as it moves under each container, the pumps pump exactly the right amount. That makes up the formula that the individual produced. Simple perfumes I've seen as little as 2 ingredients. I've not seen one yet. And complex, I would say maybe up to 15, 18 ingredients. So it's really up to the algorithm and up to the answers that the people sort of feed into it. The machine at the moment is set up to give 4 to 5 millimeters to each individual. At the end of the machine, you get the 3 bottles, you try them, 3 different separate perfumes that have been produced. You give feedback back to the machine to tell it which one worked or which one they felt resonated the most with them. And that way the AI improves and figures out and looks at patterns as to what exactly resonated with individuals with these particular traits.
دي حاجة أنا لو شمتها هقول إن إيه ده أنا قوي.
Perfume number 2 was pretty much accurate, something I would actually wear. And number 3 as well, but perfume number 2 is more accurate.
I don't think it was what I expected, but I like it.
Oh, the 3 do, but I'd go for Roger 2 was the best.
It's very nice though, I'm surprised, بس اللي هو مش حاسة قوي
Between those who loved it and those who didn't, what do you think your personality smells like? This is Aid Al-Fakhri, reporting for AUCTV.
The printing station in Parcel 17 building is the main station where they print all the materials for the students and events here in AUC. More in the following report with Khalid Amgad.
There is a place here in the AUC that is called Parcel 17, an outside building inside the main campus of AUC where a lot of the resources of the AUC are saved inside. One of the main well-known offices inside Parcel 17 is the printing station. It is the big main copy center of the AUC where they print all the big tough work there, like big banners, posters, booklets, brochures, tickets, and so on of their big work. We met one of the main team members there who is responsible for the printing station's work and explained to us more in depth all the details for the printing station that is placed in Parcel 17.
احنا هنا ال AUC print shop Parcel 17 جوه ال AUC. احنا هنا بننفذ كل الشغل الديجيتال للجامعة. 70% من مطبوعات الديبارتمنتس والسكولز بتاعت الجامعة بروشورات او فلايرات او بوسترات او تيكتس او غيره. معظم او 70% من اشغال الديبارتمنتس بتنفذ هنا في الجامعه. عندنا كل خامات الورق اللي ممكن نشتغل عليها او على حسب الكلاينت ما بيطلب الشغل بتاعه. عندنا مكان زيروكس ديجيتال الوان وابيض واسود. بنقدر ان احنا ننفذ معظم الاشغال المطلوبه في وقت قصير جدا، مش بناخد وقت طويل، وعلى حسب برضو الشغل المطلوب كميته قد ايه. بس احنا بقدر الامكان ما فيش شغلانه بتاخد اكتر من يوم او 2 تنفيذ.
We asked Mr. Mohib about how was the work process before, during and after the pandemic of the COVID, and how did they manage the work during these past tough times till today.
احنا كنا قبل كورونا الشغل عندنا كتير جدا. جت فترة كورونا الشغل يعني ما كانش بنفس الريتم، وقف شوية، بس كنا شغالين وموجودين كل يوم، واي ديبارتمنت بيطلب شغل كان بيلاقينا وكان بيتعمل. احنا لسه باك تو كامبس دي سبتمبر، وكان اول بدايتنا كان شغل حفلات التخرج. كانت اول مره يبقى 6 حفلات، واول مره الماتيريالز بتاع الحفلات دي تبقى كله ان هاوس. وكان كل سكول بتجراديويت 3 دفعات، سبرينج 20 فول 20 سبرينج 21 للفور سكول. بس تمام، كل الشغل اتسلم في ميعاده وكل حاجه اتعملت مظبوطه. بس ده كان اكبر تحدي يعني لينا، ان احنا اول مره نعمل كده هنا، وان انا اتولى واخد الريسك ده.
The printing station, which is the big main one for the AUC, has all different kinds of equipment and facilities to finish all the requested work. Mr. Moheb will explain to us with more details what are these different types of equipment.
احنا عندنا الجامعة هنا موفرة لنا مكن ألوان للديجيتال وللأبيض والأسود، وعندنا طبعا كمان مكن لامينيشن للكفرات أو الفلايرات، وعندنا مكن دبوس، وعندنا مكن قص. احنا الورق أصلا بيجي لنا من المخازن 70%، واحنا بنقصه على حسب الشغلانة المطلوبة. وطبعا كل خامات الورق متوفرة، لو حتى مش موجودة في الستور بتاع الجامعة بنقول لهم ايه الورق اللي احنا محتاجينه وبيجيبوه، وبنقدر ان احنا نشتغل على اي ورق يعني. في طبعا مكن دبوس ومكن برفوريشن للشرشرة لو تيكتس او حاجة. وفي ستاف تجليد طبعا. احنا عندنا الستودنتس بتيجي في اخر السنة لما بيكون عندهم بروجكتس او حاجات محتاجين يعملوها او ايفنتات او كده، بيجوا يعملوها هنا. لو حاجات عايزه تجليد معين يقدروا يوصلوا لنا هنا وبيجوا لنا ننفذ الكلام دوت. ده طبعا غير اللي بيتعمل اوريدي لكل الديبارتمنتس والسكولز بتاعت الجامعه.
It's amazing that our university provides all these big facilities and equipment to all staff, faculty and students so that they don't need to search for places that have the same resources outside the campus. Khalid Amgad, AUC TV.
Tomorrow's Leaders is an initiative held by AUC to support youth and prepare them to a shining future. No more in the upcoming report.
Tomorrow's Leaders Scholarship Program celebrated its new graduate and undergraduate students through an event that gathered faculties, students, and TL alumni.
Tomorrow's Leaders is an undergraduate scholarship program aimed at creating a cadre of leaders in the Middle East and North Africa. We get students who usually cannot afford a liberal arts education, but show potential in leadership and have a civic mind or civic experience. And we take them through the journey of their undergraduate studies at AUC while incorporating sessions, workshops, trainings for character development, leadership development, and civic engagement and civic mindedness in general. We have hope in what they learn here and the experiences that they go through, whether in Egypt or when they go on their semesters abroad in the US. The trainings that they take, the change that they find in themselves and they aspire to, that they would take back to their countries and give it to other people around them.
The event took place in the AUC garden with the speeches of TL managers such as Sulaf Taha,
made them more intellectually capable, gender sensitive, civic minded, and critical citizens.
and Dina Adli.
So I actually witnessed the inauguration of the program over the past decade or maybe 13 and 14 years.
TL today has expanded to 4 programs, TLU for undergraduates, TLG for graduates, TLS for gender scholars, and TLP. We celebrate today 91 alumni that have graduated from AUC over the course of 13 years. And also to welcome the newly enrolled TL students from 9 different countries in the MENA region. TLU application is currently open and the deadline is the 6th of December. And it's open for different countries from the MENA region, around 11 countries this year. You can visit Ahmed East website to fill out the Tomorrow's Leaders undergraduate application.
In addition to medley by TL student Adam Addous.
الجلال والجمال والسماء والبهاء في رباك.
And the final part was a folklore performance by AUC Folklore Tribute. أميرة دكروري، AUCTV.
The month of October at AUC witnesses lemon harvesting on campus. More in the following report with Linda Abdelatif.
اللاندسكيب هنا في الجامعة معمول على نظام اسمه النظام الأندلسي. النظام الأندلسي بيهتم جدا باستخدام الأشجار المثمرة والأشجار اللي ليها تاريخ وليها يعني قيمة عند المصريين والعرب عموما، زي النخل البلح، الموالح بأنواعها. 30 ل 40% من الحجم بتاع اللاندسكيب أو الأشجار المستخدمة في اللاندسكيب هنا في الجامعة عبارة عن أشجار فاكهة وأشجار مثمرة. شجر الليمون ده يعني له قابلية كبيرة والناس بتفضله هنا في الجامعة. شجر الليمون اللي موجود عندنا صنفين. في صنف البلدي اللي هو البنزهير وده صنف محلي، وفي صنف تاني استحدث اسمه السيدلس. سيدلس يعني من غير بذرة. طبعا السيدلس بتبقى الثمرة بتاعته كبيرة في الحجم، العصير بتاعها بيكون أكتر، تمام. والبلدي طبعا بتكون الحجم الثمره بيكون اصغر ونسبه العصير فيها بتكون اقل، ولكنه مركز عن السيدلس. الازهار طبعا بيكون في شهر 3، بيبدا من شهر 3 معايا التزهير بتاع الشجر. بيبدا العقد بعدها مثلا بحوالي شهر او شهرين، والثمره بتنضج في خلال شهر سبتمبر، والحصاد بيبدا في نهايه سبتمبر او في نص يعني في الاسبوع الاخير من سبتمبر واكتوبر ونوفمبر ويناير وفبراير. ده بالنسبه لليمون السيدلس، الصنف السيدلس.
في كده في وقت معين بنوصف الشجر، بنفضل القلب بتاعه بحيث الحشرات تتجمع في الزحمه اللي هي على الكراسات وكده ديت، احنا بننضفها عشان خاطر الحشرات وعشان يدخل له شمس. وبرضه بنعمل حسابة اللي يعني التقليمه تبقى معانا عشان تطلع ثمره. يعني احنا يعني مش بنجني على الثمره، يعني بندي التقليمه حقها برضه، في نفس الوقت بنحافظ على الثمره وشكل الشجر اللي العام نفسه، المنظر العام. وبرضه بنعمل حساب المشيات معانا لو حد معدي بتاع ما فيش حاجه تزيد.
واحنا بنجمع الليمون البلدي بنستعمل الخطاف ده احنا اللي عملناه هنا في الجامعه. لما كنا بنيجي نشتغل في ايدينا في شوك الليمون البلدي شوكه كتير بيعور ايدينا، فاخترعنا ده انا وزمايلي بنجيب بيه الليمون واحنا عن بعد، وانا بعيد عن الشجره بنزل من الليمون اللي فيها من غير ما تتاذي خالص. الصنف البلدي بيتميز عن السيدلس ان هو ممكن بيستمر فتره اطول في الحصاد، يعني ممكن على مدار السنه كلها بنحصد الليمون البلدي. اثناء عمليه الجمع احنا بنجمع مثلا في خلال الموسم حوالي 5-6 مرات. في كل مره بتبقى بتتراوح الافرج الكميه حوالي 600 ل 700 كيلو جرام. في السنه بنعمل حوالي مثلا لو اتكلمنا 4 مرات او 6 مرات في 7، يعني بتكلم على 3 طن و400 كيلو او 3 طن و200 كيلو تقريبا يعني. بيتم البيع طبعا بيتم للستاف بتاع الجامعه، سواء من دكاتره لطلبه موظفين، اهالي الموظفين او اهالي الطلبه.
Farida Timraz, founder and lead designer of Timraza, has become an internationally recognized name in the global fashion world. She is the first Egyptian to be awarded the Best Female Couture Designer in 2017. More in the upcoming report by Pasanta Akram.
الطقم اللي انت بتختاره كل يوم قبل ما تنزل رايح الشغل، that's fashion. It's a means you market yourself. You wear something you're comfortable with so that it brings you confidence. confidence is the key to any person's success.
أنا حبيت to break the rules. مش بس كده، أنا كنت لازم أرجع لوالدي أقول له ليه أنا عايزة أبقى مصممة أزياء غير إن أنا عايزة أعمل فساتين. رحت أنا قايلة له أنا عايزة أرجع مصر لخريطة الموضة.
Today, we are honored to have Dr. Zainab Amin, Professor and Associate Provost for Assessment and Accreditation, who has received many outstanding teaching awards from Cairo University and the American University in Cairo. She also received other prestigious honors and awards like elected member of the International Statistical Institute and Certificate of Appreciation of Exceptional Efforts to drive implementation of the Provost Teaching Enhancement Initiative. Let us welcome Dr. Zainab. Welcome, Dr. Zainab, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Marina, for the invitation. It's always an honor and a pleasure to visit Adham Center. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you so much. First of all, we would like to know the meaning and importance of assessment and accreditation.
Okay, assessment and accreditation are two separate things. So let me start with assessment. Assessment can be done at different levels. So I'll give you a very simple example. If I'm teaching you a course and at the beginning of the semester, on the first day of classes, I distribute a syllabus in which I tell you that at the end of the semester, after finishing this course, you should be able to do that, or you should be able to know this thing. During the semester, I would like to make sure that you actually are capable of doing what I promised to deliver. I promised you that you're going to be able to do this thing, and I would like to assess your ability to do this thing. So basically, I'm collecting information about your performance, and I'm analyzing this information to be able to provide you with feedback, because I want you to improve your learning or to enhance your experience. So I'm collecting the information about your performance, I'm analyzing it, and based on the information, I'm going to develop a plan that will help you improve. So that's assessment at the course level. If we think of assessment at the program level, it's exactly the same idea. You have certain learning outcomes that you would like to achieve, or you would like the students to achieve by the time they complete the program. So you want to assess the fact that the students are actually capable or have achieved these learning outcomes. So what do? We collect information about the program. We analyze this information, we reflect on our performance, and based on that, we identify our strengths and our weaknesses. We want to capitalize on our strengths, and we want to improve or fix or resolve our weaknesses. So we have to create a plan. What are we going to do to enhance our performance in this program? This plan cannot be created or developed unless you actually see the information or collect the evidence and reflect on the evidence and think about your performance. So that's assessment. And as I said, you can do it at different levels. Accreditation is different. Accreditation is done by an independent, non-for-profit entity that has certain criteria, and they compare your performance, they review your performance, and they compare them to their criteria. And they see whether you meet their criteria or not. The accreditation can be at the institutional level. So they look at your mission and you see how successful you were in achieving this mission. They compare the performance at the university level with their criteria to see whether you achieve these criteria or not. If you achieve these criteria, you will get the accreditation. If we're talking about institutional accreditation, you will get the accreditation like the Middle States accreditation. It's an institutional accreditation. And there are program accreditations. And this is more academic. The institutional accreditation is academic, but it's more general. The program accreditation is more academic. They look at the program in detail and the assessments you use in your program. And again, they compare your performance in the program with the criteria they set. If you pass these criteria, then you get accredited. And it's very important for parents and it's very important for students because it is like a quality assurance that your program or your institution have met the international standards or have exceeded the international standards.
So this is the process of assessment and accreditation.
It's a different process depending on the entity. For example, assessment here at AUC for program reviews, we conduct internal assessment for our.
معلش هعيد السؤال تاني Okay, تمام. So this is the process of assessment and accreditation here in the university.
Accreditation is not in the university. As I said, accreditation is carried out by an external independent non-for-profit organization that we request to have the accreditation of this entity. So for example, something like the Middle States, we request that we have the accreditation of the Middle States. It's an external entity that compares our criteria with their criteria to see whether we achieve these criteria or not. If we're talking about program accreditation, we seek the accreditation of an external entity. For example, we say, I have a program in chemistry and I want to seek the accreditation for this program. So we approach this entity and we ask them to look at our performance and provide us with the accreditation. Assessment is done internally, and we form a review committee from members of the community and including, of course, the department that is offering the program, to review and reflect on the performance, to look at all the information available on this program, reflect on it, look at the strengths, identify any weaknesses that can exist, and prepare a plan for the improvement of this program.
Okay, then there are different standards according to different institutions.
Exactly.
Like what?
For AUC, if we're talking about assessment of programs at AUC, we actually started our review or this process of assessment in fall 2019. We started by researching what other institutions in the US do. How do they conduct their assessment? And I must say, I'm very proud of the assessment process at AUC, because when we looked at institutions in the US, we found that a big portion of these institutions focus so much on finances. They look at the economics of the program. They look at the financial viability of the program. How much money does it bring to the institution? Other programs...
Here in AUC, it's different?
It's more comprehensive. Other institutions look only at variables which you can measure. You can be very tempted to focus on the things that you are able to measure, not the things that are important. Because sometimes there are things that are important for you to measure, but because you don't know how to measure them, so you just ignore them and focus on the things that you are capable of measuring. So the process at AUC is more comprehensive. It looks at qualitative as well as quantitative data. You're always tempted to use quantitative data because they're available, like figures about enrollment, retention, graduation. These are available and you can easily find them and you can easily focus on them. But this is not what we wanted to do. We wanted our assessment to be much more comprehensive. So we look at qualitative variables as well as quantitative. So something like, how is the program aligned with the mission of AUC? AUC as an institution aspires to reach a certain position or aspires to do certain things. How is AUC going to achieve this mission? It's going to achieve it by achieving the small missions of the different programs. Yeah. When you achieve the missions of the different programs, AUC will achieve its mission. So how are the missions of these programs aligned with the AUC mission? That's very important, because the programs offered at AUC cannot be very different in their mission. They can be, of course, have their own mission, but they cannot be very different from the mission of AUC. Something else like the quality of education in the program, the quality of teaching in the program, the characteristics of the professors teaching in the program, the competition the program is facing in Egypt and in the region. Is it the only program in the region, or there are so many programs similar to it in the region? And of course, the economic viability and the enrollment figures and retention rates and all this stuff.
So does this process take place periodically, or just once a program gets assessed and accredited once, it never get assessed again?
Both assessment and accreditation have to happen periodically. So assessment at AUC is done every 6 years. It's a comprehensive assessment for each program. Is assessed every 6 years. For accreditation, it depends on the entity. And for example, Middle States gives the accreditation to AUC for a period of 10 years, and then we have to go through another cycle or another review to get a re-accreditation. For programs like ABIT, for example, in SSE, you get the accreditation for 6 years, and then you have to go again through, but there's nothing that is given for life.
Okay. But we are looking for different institutions, like new institutions to accredit.
New entities, you mean?
Entities, yeah.
It's not a matter of new as much of the entity that is specialized in what you are interested in. So for example, if you want accreditation for a television and digital media program, it's different than the entity that is going to accredit a math program or a science program or an engineering program.
So are all the programs of AUC are accredited from?
No.
What are the programs that have been accredited before?
Almost all the programs in the School of Sciences and Engineering are accredited. So we have the engineering programs are accredited by the ABIT Engineering Commission. And the actuarial science program and the biology programs are also accredited by the Applied and Natural Science Commission of ABIT. Chemistry, architecture, most of the programs in the School of Sciences and Engineering are accredited, with the exception of, I think, math and physics. Programs in the School of Global Affairs and Public Policy, like the 2 master program in public policy and public administration, are accredited. The School of Business is accredited as a school. The programs in the School of Humanities and Social Sciences are not accredited. And many of them are not accredited because there is no specific entity that accredits the program. So it's not only about you wanting to have accreditation. There has to be a specialized entity that offers this kind of accreditation for this specialization.
Okay.
But AUC as an institution, of course, is accredited by Middle States.
Yeah, for sure. So how does the accreditation affect the ranking of the university?
Okay.
Worldwide, I mean.
Okay. Accreditation does not affect ranking directly, but it affects it indirectly. So if you're thinking of a direct link between accreditation and ranking, you will not see, for example, ranking is done. I mean, AUC participates in 2 kinds of rankings, or 2 worldwide rankings, QS rankings and Times Higher Education ranking. If you look at the criteria that are used by these 2 entities, they do not include accreditation. You do not see that if you are accredited, this is a criterion by itself. So directly there is no link, but indirectly, of course, there is, because if you are an accredited institution, this means you have gone through a very long and comprehensive process of reviewing your performance, trying to be up to date in everything, trying to ensure you are doing everything in good quality. So this will allow you to reflect on what you're doing, improve what you're doing, capitalize on the strengths and resolve or improve any weaknesses that you may have, which prepares you for achieving a higher rank. But accreditation is not one of the criterion that they look at ranking. When we talk at ranking, they look at the reputation of the institution in terms of teaching and in terms of research. They look at the citations of faculty. They look at the percentage of international faculty you have on campus. They look at the percentage of international students you have. So that's basically the employability, of course, of your alum. So they look at certain criteria. Accreditation is not one of them, but as I said, when you assess yourself regularly and improve your performance, it will get you there.
Thank you for coming today, and it was so useful, our conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Zainab Amin, the Associate Provost for Assessment and Accreditation.
The pleasure is mine, Marina. Thank you so much. Thank you for being such a lovely host.
Dear viewers, that was all for today. Thank you for watching.